The definition of international relation. The emphasis in international relation focus on politics within sovereign states and between government at the regional and global levels. History, geography, and economics course supplement education in international and cooperative politics to comprehend how culture, history, location, and resources influence how governments function within the international system. The international relation major address how power works within and between government on global scale, human rights, ethnic conflict, terrorism, economic and political development and globalization, the environment, foreign and economic policymaking, and national security are among the topics covered in the system which blends politics, science, economics, geography, and history.
Have you ever questioned to yourself, what is the definition of idealism? Well, let me tell you briefly about it. Idealism is a term that has several meanings. It is originated from the Greek word, which is idealismus, which is derived from the word idea. According to the spreadsheet 1998, in philosophy, idealism is now commonly defined as the belief that mind is the most fundamental reality and that the physical world exists only as an appearance or expression of mind or as a mental in its inner essence.
Next, I will explain about the idealism in international relations. According to Wilson, 2019, at the most general level, idealism refers to an approach to international political that seeks to advise certain idea or moral goals. For example, making the world more peaceful or just place. Other than that, idealism is old theory. The first philosophy in Western culture is idealism. Based on this philosophical perspective, knowledge and idea are the only one things that truly exist. The basic goal of idealism is to promote conscious thought. According to educational philosophy 2015, the father of idealism is Plato, thought that individuals ought to occupy themselves by seeking with truth.
We will look at the moral and ethical in principle. As you can see the points above me, it shows that foreign policies involve the pursuit of moral ideals such as peace, human rights, and global justice. Also, idealists believe that the moral and ethical principles should guide the conduct of states in their interaction with each other. That nations should aspire to uphold values like justice, human rights, and international law. For example, our country Malaysia's foreign policies remain independent, principled, and pragmatic, based on the values of peace, humanity, justice, and equality. Malaysia, as a member of the United Nations, is fully committed to multilateralism in advancing global peace, security, and prosperity. Malaysia Battalion, or known as MALBAT, is one of the Malaysia's representative to United Nations mission as a peacekeeper in the volatile countries such as Lebanon and others. Malaysia's track record in UN peacekeeping operations demonstrates its commitment to implementing the international community's mandate to advance global peace and security.
International relation cooperation. Idealists believe that the international community should work toward promoting peace, justice, and respect for human rights, international cooperation, and the rule of law. Idealists prioritize national needs by working together through international organizations to resolve conflict. This is collective action to address global challenge. Therefore, peace can be achieved by a country through cooperation with other countries. As an example of China's relationship with ASEAN that we always hear about. This relationship has gone through 3 stages of change. The first stage, the perception of ASEAN countries toward China in the 1960 series to 1970 series was high in terms of worry and suspicion toward China due to the communist problem. In the second stage, in the 1980 series, the perception of ASEAN countries decreased because they had good economic relationship. The third stage, in the 1990 series, ASEAN countries were not very consistent against China trade because China-ASEAN relations were more positive in the economy. But China's military strength has become a threat to ASEAN. However, ASEAN countries have taken action by establishing bilateral relationship with China to resolve conflict and trade.
Next, according to international relations, Idealism believes that the importance of international law where it provides framework like solving conflicts for peaceful cooperation between nations. Idealism also believes states must adhere to international norm and also the agreement where if there is a violation of this principle, there should be met with condemnation and diplomatic pressure. For example, Malaysia and Singapore had referred to ICJ, International Court of Justice, about the cases of Pulau Batu Putih ownership, whether that island is for Malaysia ownership or Singapore ownership. According to the Malay Mail, they have argued that where some of the maps that have been issued by their predecessors have a role as indication of sovereignty or confirmation of their claim on the position of Batu Putih Islands. In 2008, ICJ finally had ruled that Batu Putih belongs to Singapore.
Next, we mention about the democracy and human rights. Idealism in context of democracy and human rights is to create a democratic and peaceful world where every actor from individual to an international level can be heard and seen. According to ANJA 2008, Idealists believe that democracy and human rights are essential for a peaceful and just world order. This means that every state should be operate within a democratic system that has check and balance. There should be a world federation that will facilitate cooperation among the state, and that trade among states promotes a situation where actors will be less likely go to war and in order to not jeopardize a process that bring economic gain. For example, United States and its allies intervenes in Somalia to end a civil war. According to Britannica 2023, the intervention was initially successful in restoring order and delivering humanitarian aid. However, it soon became bogged down in conflicts, and US troops were withdrawn in 1993.
The difference between idealism theory and realism theory in international relations is that idealism emphasizes cooperation between countries. This is because of the cooperation that exists to achieve national security from the occurrence of conflicts. According to Slaughter 2011 says, the basic insight of this story is that the national characteristics of individual states matter for their international relations. And this means the relationship of a country with another country based on norm and culture. Countries are willing to ignore their interest to have military relations with other countries, while realism theory is conflictual in nature. This is because there is no good cooperation leading to violence and confrontation in the world. Therefore, it will cause problems for national and human security because of the many threats that come.
Besides that, we can see the differences between idealism and realism within the conflict resolution. For idealism, we can see that they solve the conflict resolution with a peaceful means where they have respect the rules and organize the authority of international organization. It can be proved by the researcher Dr. Shadi Al-Shadaifat said that it's not necessary to have a strong power to maintain a good peace in the country. Compared to idealism, realism solving the resolution conflict through the war, where they had to expand the power. Realists want to break existing international law because they believe in the lack of governments in the international system. To make it clear, the government set as a strong and merciless power to maintain peace in a country and control the ego and work in the people.
Next, I will explain about the moral view of world on idealism. For idealism, according to INET 2020, it will make the world to see that all people can work together to create a peaceful society. Other than that, he also mentions about to make the world see that we should strive to live up our own idea of morality and justice even when it is difficult. On the other hand, the moral view of on realism, according to Al-Rohan 2020, convince everyone that power is the most valuable resources and that individuals are driven by self-interest. He also mentions about to show society that we should approach morality with pragmatism and realism, and that we should be willing to sacrifice our principle to accomplish our objective.
Last but not least, in short, there is significant difference because focused idealism is national interest that maintain the ultimate aim. It indicates that each condition must achieve a set of aims. According to the study found by Timuçin Kodaman and Ekram Yasar Akçe 2013, idealist theory explains how important it is for someone to have education, especially a leader. If the leader does not have any education, then it only causes defeat in the war. On the other hand, it will give positive impact on the end of the war when the leader is educated. In fact, the people's safety and national security are also more guaranteed. Because of that, idealists strongly explain they have to be exist in idealism. Meanwhile, realism is a national interest to maintain and expand power because realists only explain their existing. Realist opinion on war is indeed very different because for them the situation is not important because man still a bad and selfish person. From study RE 2004 on page 88 to 96.
Now we will look at the impact of promotion of peace and cooperation towards international relations. Promotion of peace and cooperation is main central in the realm of idealism, which underscores the significance of ethics and moral principles in global matters. It calls for the peaceful resolutions of conflicts, fostering collaboration among nations, and the shared pursuit of common values. Idealists also hold the view that diplomacy and international institutions are vital tools for a nation to collaborate in achieving mutual objectives and averting conflicts. For example, Japan is working to strengthen and expand its peacekeeping cooperation with the United Nations, or known as UN. In order to strengthen and expand its cooperation, Japan also voluntarily contributed $5 million and $10 million from its revised fiscal 1978 budget to the United Nations.
Next, encouraging the creation of international organizations is leave the impact towards international relations. The good example of international organizations known as United Nations, created on year 1994, which is maintain the international peace and security. Focuses of United Nations Security Council is to keep peace. According to the United Nations, the UN efforts are to prevent conflict, help conflicting parties together, direct peacekeeping forces, and create conditions that allow peace to be maintained and developed in order to achieve the goal. In fact, it was supported by statement from Malaysian Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar on the United Nations General Assembly United 78 in New York, which is, as you can see, the United Nations as an international organization in terms of safety and security has created a positive international relationship between countries. Why I'm saying like this? As per the finding of report by the Dr. Roy Anthony from Sinar Harian, the United Nations collaboration with its agencies such as UNICEF and WHO has transformed the life of people in developing nations by raising their standard of living and helping those in conflict. Idealists support the harmony and peace that international organizations like the United Nations has fostered among nation-states. Encouraging more countries and organizations to cooperate with the UN is definitely a useful strategy for settling international conflict peacefully. For example, case on Malaysia that accepted the arrival of Vietnamese refugees due to the war in Vietnam and settled them in Bidong Island, Terengganu. There was a conflict when the UN decided to release the refugees to a third country, but they rebelled against the screening process. Even though the situation is out of the control, the security personnel still persuade in good way. Malaysia used several methods of negotiations and the demonstrations were resolved peacefully, according to the report of Muhammad Aziz 2015. This shows Malaysia solved the problem using idealism concept, which is through a peace way without harming each other to maintain national security.
Impact towards international relations promote human rights. Human rights are rights that all people have regardless of race, gender, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion or other status. Human rights include, among other things, the right of life and liberty, the freedom from slavery and torture, the freedom of thought and speech, the right to labor and education, and many more others. Everyone, without exception, is entitled to this right. For the example, the role of human rights in Colombia peace process. After 5 years of negotiation, the peace talk between Colombia government and the Revolutionary Armed Force of Colombia People Army, FARCEP, completed on November 24, 2016, with the signing of peace deal. This procedure in many ways can serve as a broad foundation for incorporating human rights into peace negotiation. 3 features stick out in particular. To begin, the principal negotiation employed a human rights framework as guidance in the drafting and execution of the agreements from the start of peace process. Second, the approach was founded on a set of principles aligned with the concept of accountability, participation and inclusiveness. Third, there was a focus on social justice in the power relation of post-conflict society. Each of the 4 components of human rights-based approach to conflict resolution discussed above played an important part in Colombia peace process. I saw the peace process as an opportunity to improve the human rights situation of my community and of my country and contribute to the silencing of the guns, he said. When you have lived through conflict and you have suffered discrimination and poverty like I did, you do anything to end it. Former Truth Commissioner and Community Leader LIYANA Palacios. Next impact towards international relations are supported international law. International law, also called public international law or law of nation, the body of legal rules, norms and standards that apply between sovereign state and other entities that are legally recognized as international actors. The term was coined by the English philosopher Jeremy Bentham, 1748 until 1832. For the example is Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security between Japan and the United States of America. Japan and the United States of America desiring to strengthen the rule of law, bonds of peace and friendship traditionally existing between them, and to uphold the principle of democracy and the individual liberty for the purpose of contributing to security of Japan and maintenance of international peace and security in the Far East. The United States of America is granted the use by its land, air and naval force of facility and area in Japan. The use of this facility and areas as well as the status of United States Armed Force in Japan shall be governed by separate agreement, replacing the administrative agreement under Article 3 of the Security Treaty between Japan and the United States of America, signed at Tokyo on February 28, 1952, and amended by such other agreement as may be agreed upon.
In conclusion, the use of the concept of idealism in international relations can have a positive impact on the global because the concept of idealism emphasizes world peace and peaceful resolution of conflict. In fact, it is able to create a good global society between each country. This is because all countries can work together, help each other for the common good in resolving conflict peacefully using the concept in idealism.
Overall, idealism can be pursued effectively only if the decision maker alert about the distribution of powers, national interests, and the consequences of their policies.
This is the reference we use in this topic. Thank you for taking time to watch and listen our video presentation. Have a good day.